So for over 20 years in this community, there have been groups meeting twice a month with 2 facilitators at set times, generally with an opening and a centering and a check-in and questions of deepening. And magic and beauty and flourishing has taken place in these groups over these 2 decades. And today we're going to celebrate some of what's made that possible and hear some more about it. I'm going to invite Margot Campbell. She's the minister Emerita of this congregation, and she'll tell us a little bit more about the history of our small groups and also who we have to thank.
I want to give you just a little bit of the history of why we started these groups. When John Marsh and I were ministers here in the late 1990s, we had a feeling that there was a need for, an opportunity for, people to gather in smaller groups to listen to one another. Think of our first hymn, Do You Hear? And we wanted to enable and to help and to facilitate people hearing each other at deeper levels, because we are all human beings, knowing we are alive now and that we will die. We will all travel this same journey together. And on that journey, many things happen. Some of them are challenging, some of them are wonderful, some of them are puzzling. And we wanted the opportunity for people to really hear each other's struggles, each other's joys, to listen to the Spirit. And so we learned through members of this congregation that there was a way of doing this through small group ministries. A church in the Northeast was already practicing this, and so this was brought back to our community. And we started small group ministries with an extraordinary woman, Carol Ruley, who was coordinator of these small group ministries for many, many years until her untimely death. And since then, we've had many devoted people who have been facilitators of those small group ministries and also coordinated the whole program. And this is something that I am immensely grateful for. I think that people have made connections with each other. I think that truly the Spirit has grown in many people and between people, and that we've shared some deep and tender moments in our lives through the possibilities of small group ministries. So I would like to invite 2 people who've been the coordinators this year, Gregg and Millie Phillips, to come up and to thank the facilitators.
Good morning. We now also invite this year's Small Group Ministries facilitators to join us here in the chancel. When I accepted the role of co-coordinator of the Small Group Ministries program in June of 2020, we were in the early stages of the global pandemic, and none of us knew how long it would last and what lay ahead. What we did know was that members needed a way to remain connected and share spiritual growth. Over the past 2 years, we have seen great loss and many people feeling a sense of hopelessness. Small Group Ministries has been a key to helping us overcome isolation during these challenging past 2 years. And we've had participants ranging in ages from early 20s to mid-80s. We have seen several first connect with this congregation through small group ministries during the pandemic go on to become members of the church. We've had people participate from as far away as Sacramento, Portland, and Texas, whom we might otherwise never have known. And I know that we have participants with us today on Livestream who are very much a part of this community, even if they are not with us here in person. And I want to thank this year's facilitators. Megan Lemmer and Julia Wald have led our Monday group at the church, primarily in person, while navigating a way to keep the group safe and connected through the Omicron surge. Ben Baer and Ralph Fenn have led our Wednesday group via Zoom. And Anish Johnson and I have led our Thursday group through the new platform Chasm Junto. And I want to thank Millie Phillips as a co-coordinator of small group ministries with me the past year. She has brought great insight and leadership from her many years as facilitator. Thank you to all of you for providing a nurturing community and spiritual growth to so many members this year. And finally, I want to present this to Margot as a small a symbol of gratitude on behalf of all of the facilitators this year.
I don't think I want to open this now, do I? I want to thank Gregg and Millie, who've been amazing co-coordinators this year. Millie took on this role knowing that she might not be able to be full-time because she was looking for a full-time job, which she found, a ministry. And then the ministry was able to be in person, and so that made her life a little bit more complicated. She had to drive to Concord. And so despite all of that, she has been a huge support and a leader for the group this year. And I want to give you, Millie, something that was made by a member of our congregation, Richard Davis. Thank you very, very much for all you've done. And I want to thank Gregg, who has been co-coordinator for 2 years now and has been absolutely extraordinary in the way he's managed through all the difficulties and the hiccups of new technology and maintained a presence of spiritual leadership, which I deeply, deeply appreciate. So Gregg, I'm giving you something that was very dear to my great friend, Kay Jorgensen, and I hope you haven't got it, but if you have, you won't mind having another copy.
Thank you.
So thank you all.
First of all, I'd like to thank Gregg for his leadership. He has done the bulk of the work these last 2 years, and it's been a truly difficult time to coordinate this program when we were going between online and in person and not knowing the future of this program. So thank you so much, Gregg. And of course, thanks also to Margot, who has been an inspiration for me, at least, for many, many years, ever since I joined this church. And I honor her leadership, and we will miss her participation in this program. And lastly, I'd like to ask, since this program has brought together so many people in this congregation and has created such great relationships between people over the years, would all of you who have participated in a small group ministry please stand if you're able and willing? Thank you. Let's give them a warm applause. And lastly, I'd like to announce that Small Group Ministry is hosting our coffee hour after the service. So please join us in the courtyard for coffee and tea and snacks. Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to say that Small Group Ministry is going to take a hiatus for the summer and hopefully get a relaunch in the fall. Think about it for yourself. It's an opportunity to build intimacy and access a group of people working to talk about things of ultimate value too. I went this week to the Legion of Honor to see an exhibit that Margot had just told me about, this incredible Chinese designer, Gao Pei, a woman designer, extraordinary vision. And so it seemed appropriate to have one of her incredible outfits that take tens of thousands of hours to create. And I encourage you all to go see it and think of that at the end of the sermon too. To put on the cover of a gift to Margot, whose vision it was, along with John Marsh, to create this program that then multiplied the ministry, that all of you then served as ministers holding these groups, which can be complicated depending on the dynamics of human beings, which are beautiful and complicated, as we all know, but also just creates the landscape for so much that's powerful and important that happen, that doesn't have a lot of spaces in our world, that's increasingly privatized and doesn't have places for gathering and creating new community. And so, in the spirit of visions that are extraordinary and then are brought forth into the world, a small token of gratitude for these 20 years or more, actually, of this ministry and all that it has given rise to, all the harvests it has given rise to.